I'm Beth Ann.
What's up? I'm Ayla.
This is Let's Talk BL, a boys love podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Yes.
Today, we're talking about ships.
Oh my gosh.
All about ships. So many ships.
What a wild year for ships last year and new ships this year.
So many ships.
So many ships.
So many boys.
So many boys.
So many.
Okay, let's get into it. The first thing that we're going to do, we're going to talk a lot of vocabulary for ships. So we're going to try to explain what that is, because if you're new to the BL world and there's so much vocabulary
Right.
that you have to learn when getting into it. I remember so some people refer to ships as CPs, and I had no idea what that was when I first started.
Yes. So if you're wondering, a CP is a couple pairing.
Yeah, which they use that term more so in like Taiwan, and I feel like other countries.
I feel like I see it kind of interchangeably. I think really the difference between who's using ship and who's using CP depends on where they themselves are from.
Oh, interesting.
So I think that the Western market uses ship a lot because that's what we are used to, right? Because ship is not a BL thing. You find ships in K-pop, you find ships in the book world, like the book community.
Yeah.
So ship is, I think, like what we are used to in the Western world. So I think depending on who you're talking to in the fan community, that's where you're going to hear the difference between who's using ship and who's using CP.
Okay, so shipping, the Wikipedia definition, is the desire by followers of a fandom for two or more people, either real life people or fictional characters in film, television, etc., to be in a romantic and or sexual relationship. So as we refer to shipping from our definition, it always applies to actors doing work.
Right. So in the BL world, and I think we've had this conversation before, where like one of the coolest things about coming into the BL world, especially if you came from K-pop, is that like in K-pop, for me personally, the shipping was always toxic. It was always something that I personally didn't want to be a part of.
Totally.
And
because you're making up stories about boys that like have nothing to actually do with them.
Right. So in my experience in K-pop shipping, you're making up these stories and you're making up these scenarios about boys who aren't consenting to be a part of that narrative.
Totally.
Versus like in the BL world, what's so sort of like cool and fun about it is that all these boys are like in on it.
They lean into it.
They're in on it, right? And so it's like you're making up this story.
The closest you get is like GOT7, because they kind of like wink, wink, nudge, nudge to like little things, at least early on. But yeah, you definitely, and it's like playful with GOT7. Whereas like in the Thai BL world, it's very much like, who knows?
Right. So like that's what's so interesting about the BL world, is you get to come into it and you get to see that like, oh, they're in on it. And okay, we're all together as a group making up this narrative.
Yeah.
And the key thing there is that we all understand it's a story.
Yeah.
Right? We all understand that this is not real. These boys are not dating in real life. This is a story. We're all just in an elaborate game of like role play with each other.
Yeah.
Like we're
100%.
all in this like crazy like role playing game.
This literally applies to any entertainer ever, because what we see, and I think because in the Western world, because we have paparazzi, we're so used to seeing at least little snippets of their private life, but that's not something you really get in. We're talking specifically Thailand, so we're gonna like constantly refer to Thailand,
right?
But like that's not something you get with Thailand. Like when Om Nanan are doing ship work, they're showing up to an event, they're doing something dressed.
Let's be very
They've been
clear.
Dressed by somebody else. Like
let's be very clear. It is their job.
Yeah,
they are showing up and getting paid to do a job.
Totally.
And now that is not to say Om and Nanan are not friends. They are friends. They were friends before they got paired up, right? But it is to say that when they show up and when they participate in this narrative, they are doing that as their job, even if it's late at night or on a weekend or in the morning, right? As entertainers, they don't work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Totally.
And so when they show up just because it's on a weekend or at night, or like they've got lots of stuff back to back to back, right? Like they are doing their job as a ship. right? And that's what's so interesting about it, is that this narrative that we're all creating together,
Yeah.
this story, and it's actually very cool. It's not,
Mhm.
I think a lot of people get disillusioned with it and they're like, it's a scam, they're lying to us, it's all a lie.
Oh, it's
No, we're all
fun.
playing a game together.
Totally. And it's interesting because when we talked to Evan last season from We Best Love, he was talking about how in their culture, in day-to-day life, that people will be shipped together. And that's just not something we have in the West. So I
Right.
think when we see it on screen with two actors doing it out of series, at first you're like, wait a second, are are they dating? Like, it takes you a second to realize, like, oh, it's just like an extension of work, kind of like how actors here go on like press junkets. Their press is ship work.
Right. So when we talk about shipping, that is what we are talking about.
Yeah.
I think that it's really important to talk about toxic shipping, which is what leads you as a fan to accept a narrative that the actors themselves have not consented to. Like, that is the
Mm.
line for me that I
Yeah.
see. So they're never once have any of them said we're dating in real life.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you as a fan say, oh, they're dating in real life, they have this separate private life that none of us are allowed to see. And I just know
Totally.
it's happening. That's when you cross the line.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, for example, when somebody gets a girlfriend, or it comes out that one of the boys have a girlfriend,
It comes out that they're straight.
oh my God,
They get
the
outed.
horror, right? And people get upset.
Yeah.
That is a line where you have exited this narrative, this fun game we're all playing together,
Yeah.
right? You've
Yeah,
exited the
yeah.
fun game and you've gone into territory that you shouldn't be in.
Which we've talked about, how we love when we find out these little snippets about their real life, because in the West, we want to know those things. Like, we love when like Jennifer Lopez and when J-Lo and Ben Affleck get back together. Like,
do we love that though?
I
I don't know who
mean,
loves
I
that. Do
think
you
it's-
love that?
well, I
Why do
think
you
it's-
love that? That's a separate
Oh my
conversation.
God. I think it's interesting. But that's the thing, is like, people are always rooting for something that is like ideal or romantic, like the romantic part of it.
Right.
So we do see stuff like that in the West, but we just don't see that in a lot of the BL ship culture. And that's fine. So I think that's where that like line gets crossed too often. And we get into this place where, yeah, we are like, oh, we hope that these boys, and they do stuff that we're just not used to. Like, a friend of ours was talking about how uh when she was like in Korea, because they're so affectionate with each other in public, like men,
It's
it's
just
so
there are cultural
different.
differences, but that has
Totally.
nothing to do with the shipping.
Okay.
So let's talk about the vocabulary.
Yes.
Some key terms that you will want to know besides like CP and ship.
Yeah.
Ghost ship.
Yes.
This was very confusing for me because I never got into the ships before because, like I said, in K-pop, it just was never my thing.
No, yeah.
And so a ghost ship, I remember I was very into Yinwar. I am still very into Yinwar.
Yeah,
the war
yeah.
agenda, it carries on.
And it's even stronger now. They are doing some ship work.
The war agenda
so
is
good.
strong in this household. But I was watching an appearance that they did, and a fan had asked, I think it was Yin or War, had asked one of them how they felt about the other's ghost ship.
Yes.
And I was so confused. I was like, is this established? What does ghost ship mean? Is this like, do I have another show to go watch? Like, I was like, what is happening?
What is ghost ship?
So a ghost ship is basically, like you were saying, what Evan was telling us about, where people will just ship two random boys together because they feel like it's fun. A really good example, and we'll talk about these boys, are Cow and Ohm from Until We Meet Again.
Yeah.
Cow, if you will.
Yes.
Cow is one of my favorite ghost ships. Cow is my second favorite ghost ship.
Yeah.
My first favorite ghost ship is actually Ofte. Love Ofte.
Here
for Ofte.
Yeah.
And a ghost ship is where you ship these two boys together because you want to see them do the couple work. They're not a couple, but you want to see them do the couple work.
Usually they're actually friends who do have some type of interaction.
And remember, ship is short for relationship. So even though the Wikipedia definition lists it as romantic or sexual, I actually subscribe to the notion that like you can like have like friendships.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Like, and that's how I feel about it. And so a ghost ship is essentially any ship that you find that you like that is not established. So they do not have a show together. They do not have
they're just not
brand work.
established. Yeah.
They're just not established. They are not, to use another word of vocabulary, canon.
Yeah.
And so canon is just a word that means it is established in a show, right? It's written down, it's established by the creator. Yeah. Right. So like it's any ship that isn't canon is a ghost ship.
I really, in doing research for this episode, I discovered that War and Beaver are apparently a ghost ship because Beaver has this huge crush on War.
I mean, so do I, so it's fair.
And so that's fun. So yeah, like anytime one actor shows affection for another actor.
Not even then. It could just be two boys that like there's not even affection there. I have seen ghost ships where the two actors like haven't even met.
They don't even know each
other.
Right?
So it's all about this like, again, imagined narrative.
Love it.
Right? Because this is all a game. And so that's one piece of vocab. Let's talk about what a sinking ship and what a sunk ship is.
Yeah.
So
we will not be giving specific examples.
Mostly because usually if you are subscribed to a ship and that ship is sinking, you would never admit that ship is sinking.
100%.
But so a sinking ship is any ship that is established, that is canon, that is a real ship. It is not a ghost ship.
Right.
That is slowly starting to drift apart.
Right.
So they have not done a show together in a while and maybe are doing less and less brand work or, you know, something like that, right? They're just appearing together less and less. They are acknowledging each other less and less. They themselves, as the two actors, are subscribing to this notion and playing this game with us less and less, right?
Yeah.
So that is a sinking ship. It's a ship that is still kind of doing stuff, but also not really.
Yeah.
And then you have a sunk ship. And a sunk ship is a couple that was canon, that did all of the things that they had to do to be a ship, and they have completely broken apart and are no longer. They go completely dark. They have zero interaction.
Public interactions. They could have private interactions.
Again, we are talking about interaction within shipwreck, and shipwreck is all public. And if you start going into private, then you're crossing a line, right? Yeah. So they have no interaction within the ship world.
Yeah.
And that's a sunk ship.
There's a few that kind of crash and burn pretty publicly, but then you have quite a few that are very quietly just disappear. And so those are probably the harder ones to truly wrap your mind around, like, oh, this couple no longer exists. And you're like always holding out hope that something will happen. We were talking earlier and we were like, Max Toll will be a ship forever because those boys have truly the healthiest friendship. And even if they had 20 other partners and were no longer actors, like you could still ship those boys.
Also, I think that Max and Tool will continue to do ship work for like the rest of eternity. Tool is going to be like 80 and like be snapping up those brand deals, dude. I'm telling you.
I love it. They'll be doing ship work when Tool opens his like giant building in Bangkok. Like,
right. So like Tool is truly Tool and Max.
They'll be doing ship work at Max's wedding.
Yeah. Like Tool and Max, I think, are truly the epitome of like a golden ship because they're so healthy. Because Tool is Tool. Yeah. And Max is Max. But when they are a part of this game we're all playing together, which is the Max Tool ship, right? 1000%. They do it.
Gosh, I love them so much. Okay. Reason for the name order. This is a thing that actors harp on. This is something
I think this is a name that everybody harps on. I think that the actors themselves joke about it. I think it's funny to them because, again, remember, it's all a game we're playing together. We're all making it up together. None of this is real.
Yeah. I think it was a Until We Meet Again event where they were like, the person who takes care of the other person is who goes first.
Right. Yes. It wasn't Until We Meet Again fan of it. And I actually love this fan of it because they were talking about like, who would you switch with partner wise? Yeah. And like that was a great fan event. And they were like, I want to say it was Kuhart who said he wanted to be paired with Fluke.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I would pay $10 million to watch a show that they were in together because it would be sad boy hours. We would cry. We would sob. We would sob the whole time. It would be like all of the saddest parts of and I Promised You the Moon and Until We Meet Again, but just the whole time, like no happiness.
Technically,
it would be full sad boy hours and I'm so here for it.
Haven't they done ship work? Because they've they've like made appearances together as like besties.
I mean,
that
I don't know that I would call
considered
it shipwork because they're not established.
They're just friends.
Right. Yeah, no, they're not a ship.
I mean, they're like a Mark Prom.
They're not even a ghost ship though. Like, no.
They just
leave
things
this
together.
behind. Leave this behind.
Okay.
But so yes, they then when Kuhart gave that answer, the interviewer said, so whose name would go first?
Yeah.
And the way they phrased it was, would you take care of him?
Yeah.
So it would indeed be Earth Fluke.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so funny.
Yes.
And
this, you also see this Until We Meet Again cast is just like golden, truly, with the ship work.
Right.
Because they have a very famous ghost ship.
Yes.
Cow.
Love it.
And Cow, of course.
That ship has sunk.
Well, Cow have each. So was paired, of course, with Fluke.
Yeah.
And Cow was
still paired.
Right. But in the show, within Until We Meet Again world.
Okay.
It was Fluke. And then you had Kuhart and Cow.
Right.
So Cow, like, and it's a ghost ship. So ghost ships don't sink, actually, because they're not canon. They're not real. They can't sink if they're fake.
Made up.
Yeah. And so
Imaginary,
what was funny about it is that all of the fans were so into Cow.
Yeah.
Because Cow is just like the perfect ghost ship. And people would say things to them about Cow, like at fan events.
Right,
because
right,
this
right,
was back
right.
in the day when we could do fan events.
Oh, gosh.
And they would joke around about it, and people would say like Cow.
Yeah.
And Cow was the one who's always like, no, it's Cow. It's Cow. And they would get in these little tiffs about, was it Cow or was it Cow? Like, you can even go on YouTube. There's a fantastic fan edit of like, this is why it's Cow and not Cow. And it's really funny and cute.
Really
and
cute.
The actors play with it.
Some of the more long-term ships, like Boon Prem, have that discourse a lot of times. Kim Cop have it a lot of times. They bring it up quite often because the reporters will also bring it up. Like, it's a funny, just like thing dynamic. Okay, so moving on. Some ships have fandom names. There's a bunch. Like Jaw First have a fandom name.
Yes.
Which I will not be pronouncing because I don't like quite understand how to pronounce the word.
I think it's Dom Jiu.
Okay.
I think. Joffrey's fans, please tell me if I got that right. But I think it's Dom Jiu.
I see it written. Yeah, I know how to spell it.
But I think it's Jiu. I think it's Dom Jiu.
Cool. And they always have like such sweet meanings. Like, I love Jimmy Tommy. Theirs is like Me Too, which is MII2.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're such, and I think like the fan clubs usually, like, it's a collaboration between like the fans and the artists.
Yeah.
And then some will even stylize their name differently. Cowup have truly been a lesson in ship work. These boys have taken ship work to like a business level. They have a full a YouTube series. They have.
See, for me, Cowup is almost like they're just so businessy.
Yeah.
It is. The ship is their business.
I love it. And so they've stylized their name as Kapow. And I don't know if I don't know if that's the fandom name or if that's just how they styled it. Because we always have this conversation where is it Saint Z or Z Saint? But then people say Zaint Z.
Because nobody really knows. Because again, then you get into situations where what is canon and then what is ship canon. So what's character canon and actorship canon? And so the number one example of this is our boys Christ and Singto of Sodus.
Right.
So within Sodus, the character canon is Kong Arteet.
Yeah.
And so Kong Pob is Singto's character and Arteet is Christ's character.
Right.
So within the show, it's actually Singto Christ.
Yeah.
But it's not Singto Chris because it's Kong Arteet, because we're talking about character canon.
Right.
And then when you go to the actorship,
right,
it's Chris Singto.
Yeah.
And the way that I see it, because of course the thought process, the idea is like who takes care of who. And then there's actually great discourse within Lovely Rider because Jean's character, so Up's character is a writer of a BL.
Yeah.
And his brother, Sweet Poppy, who I love, my favorite boy potentially in the world, asks him, who's the husband and who's the wife?
Right.
And so that's the outdated way to decide whose name comes first, right? Is this phrase like who's the husband and who's the wife, which of course we know doesn't exist and isn't a thing. And great discourse in Lovely Rider where Jean shuts it down. And Jean is like, actually, that's not what we say. That's not how it's called. That's not.
Bad Buddy just addressed this too, where he's like, you always call me your wife. Does it make you he asked you, does it make you feel like powerful? Yeah. I love that.
But so the idea is, and so within the actorship, particularly Chris Singto, the reason I think there's such a good example of this is that if you watch Chris Singto do couple work, which I do, I enjoy Chris Singto. I think they understand the assignment. I think that both of them are playing this game with us, and I think that they get what they're doing, and I think they're good at it.
And their ship is still going very strong.
And so within that ship, if you watch them do ship work, Chris is the more dominant personality in that, like, he takes care of Singto a lot of times. So like if you watch, I watched a fan meeting that they did, I think in the Philippines, and Chris was just more comfortable speaking the English and taking the lead on the questions. And he almost was like protecting Singto in the situations where Singto didn't feel as comfortable. And then you also see a lot of clips of them like at fan meetings, like accepting gifts, and like Singto will help, or Chris will help Singto like figure out the wrapping, or like, you know, like prompt him to do the like pose or whatever it is that they need to do. And so like they're a good example of like, that's why it's determined that it's Chris Singto and not Singto Chris.
Interesting. Okay, the last thing before we get into our lovely illustration, which I'm super excited
Which if you're
about.
watching on YouTube, you can see, but if you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, maybe listen to this episode on your commute and then come back for the visuals later, because there are visuals.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we decided, I mean, visuals, I guess, are a theme this season.
Yeah.
The visuals come back with our interview with the You're My Sky Boys, so tune in for that later this month.
Totally. But yeah, we will also like describe what we're talking about. Okay, so this list is not exhaustive. We're going over ships that are actors. They are not characters in a series. It's out of series content. So this is things that like most of them have been established in shows. There's like maybe one, I think, that's like not two. There's one that doesn't have a show that we know
right
of.
So our definition of a ship for this episode's purpose, because otherwise this episode would be literally 8 hours long, are established couples that have been established in a show that also have done some sort of outside promotion, whether that be a brand deal, whether they showed up on like an armshare or like a Sosat Solse or a Let's Talk BL. So that's what we're, for the purposes of this episode, going to talk through all these ships. We also focused only on Thailand. Yeah. And we also focused very heavily on some of the overlapping boys, because one of the things we really want to talk about is that there's a lot more ship overlap than people realize. Yeah. And that by being possessive of your boys and saying, this boy can only be with this boy because this is their ship and he's not allowed to go out and do other couple work, and otherwise it's cheating and it's all of this stuff. You're limiting them, and quite frankly, it's already happening and you probably don't realize it. And nobody died. The world didn't light on fire. Especially let the boys be free.
Within GMMTV, you guys are gonna it's gonna blow your mind how much overlap there is. And so yes, I think it's important for us to let these boys, because we talked earlier, the conversation about wanting established actors to come into BL world. If that is going to happen, then we have to let these boys kiss other boys on TV.
Right. You have to let them establish other ships for themselves and play this game with whoever they want to play the game with. Or whoever, quite frankly, their production company decides they should play the game with.
True. And there are also like gay storylines within shows, and those actors won't be mentioned here because there's like an extensive
way
amount.
too many. So this list is not exhaustive.
Yeah.
If we did not mention your ship, it's not because we don't know about them or that we were trying to ignore them or anything like that. It's because
there's just a lot of boys.
It's because there are so many boys. There are just so many boys. I mean, truly, it is absolutely exhausting how many boys there are.
And also, if you haven't noticed, we are ourselves wearing a ship because we have Earth mix. We always have Earth mix.
Yes, we'll always have Earth mix.
Okay, so let's get started.
Another quick disclaimer is that another reason that we want to illustrate all of this that I think it's really, and it's also just interesting and cool to see all together and to talk about all together. But is that
especially if you're new to BL, because like it will when I started discovering like who was paired with who initially, I'm like, hold on.
When we were putting this together, the sheer number of boys just with this abbreviated list,
like,
and I was like, how does my brain have enough?
I know all these boys' names
to remember all these boys.
I know all these boys' names. And Ayla still had some that she didn't.
There was like 3 out of all of these boys that I was like, I do not know this boy. But like, truly, I was like, how do I have enough disk space for this in my brain? Because I'm like, oh, I need a Baz, I need a Perth. Like, we're moving them all around. Like,
especially
it was wild.
When I got you into BL, you're like, I have no more room for boys because of K-pop, and I was like, you have room.
It's wild. So the other thing to note is that we did actually include some brand new ships in this because, quite frankly, there was overlap and we needed to illustrate it all. But also because it's really important. I mean, this is like my personal soapbox. I know you are not so much on this soapbox as I am.
Right.
But like my personal thing is that like, I think that if we don't get excited about new ships, we're never going to get new actors transitioning into BL, and we're not going to get this thing that we all want, which is like the growth of this genre.
Yeah.
And so if we're not talking about these new ships and these new shows, then we're not going to get more of them because advertisers aren't going to sponsor, because producers aren't going to make them, because casting directors aren't going to cast them.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to know and love and appreciate these established ships that we're going to talk about, but also when a new ship comes around, get excited about them, do some research, learn about them, because they're interesting and they're cool and they're funny, and like it's just really important. So we do include a couple of them here because there was some overlap, and also just for that point. And so that's my soapboxing. I'm done. I'm sorry.
I will say I fully get on board with new ships really quickly. I would say like I don't have an old ship. Like I go through phases where like when I first got into BL, I was like fully on board with Mugolf because that was the height of Mugolf. And I was fully on board with like Saint Z because that was the height of Saint Z. And then like once their shows ended and there are new shows coming out, like when Jaw first came out, I was fully on board with Jaw first. And then when, you know, now that now that Z and New have a new show coming out, like I'm obsessed with Z New. And then there's a bunch of little boys that like don't have shows yet from different places that I will fully just go like Net James is another.
Well, and so like one really good example is everyone was on board with Mile Apo real quick.
Yeah.
Right. And they were a brand new ship. And I just want to see this so badly for every other ship that's brand new. Right. Like for these boys who are 0% established. And so like one couple, and we'll talk about them, is like Boom Jump, for example. They are wonderful. Yeah. Adorable. And not enough people talk about these newer ships. And so that's my soapbox. I'm done. Let's talk about GMMTV because we're about to get wild in y'all. Okay. Where
are we starting? I say we start simple. You guys know about
Brightwind. So the fun thing about Brightwind is that Brightwind, these baby boys right here.
Oh, we put them like kind of, not going to be pretty, but it's okay.
So Brightwind, these boys, they are unique in GMMTV in that they have only ever been shipped with each other, which, yes, you heard me right. It is unique within GMMTV to only have been shipped with one other GMMTV boy. The only other boys that have achieved this are
Off Gun. Yeah. So Off Gun over here.
So then
Now,
you have
Gunn
Afghan.
has like been with other actors within shows. but
Right.
he
So for
hasn't done ship
example,
work.
Gunn, and again, this is an example of when we talk about actorships having been established in a show and having done some
Yeah.
other sort of brand work. So for example, Gunn has been in a show with Obe, who is the
Mind-blowing.
evil boy from I Promise You the Moon, if you don't know who Obe is. And they have a little relationship moment
Yeah.
happening thing.
Yeah.
But as far as having been shipped, Afghan, we know this.
Yeah.
The other sort of OG, never been shipped with anyone else within GMM TV is Frank Drake.
Yep.
Drake Frank. What did we decide it was?
I know we didn't. We did.
We looked this up.
I think Frank Drake.
If we're looking at the characters, so they were established in 'Cause You're My Boy, and if you're looking at the characters, it would be Drake Frank.
Oh, interesting. I don't remember.
Yeah. You
Cool.
loved 'Cause You're My Boy.
I know, but girl, we've watched at least 30 shows. I've watched at least 30 shows since then.
So now let's get messy. I'm so excited.
Okay, let's
No,
start
because we were on 'Cause You're My Boy. We're already
Okay.
talking about 'Cause You're My Boy. We're gonna get messy with 'Cause You're My Boy.
This is fun.
This is gonna be really fun.
Blew my mind.
Another pairing that was established in 'Cause You're My Boy that was an OG GMMTV ship are Puin and Neo.
When they were 14 years old.
were 14 years old.
Because they even say that in the show. They're like, we're 14.
Puin and Neo. Yes, the brothers from Fish Upon the Sky.
And there's
Puin
a fun
and
little
Neo.
nod in Futs where they're like, do you think I'm a pervert? I'm your brother.
Yeah.
It's very cute.
So from there, we of course know that in Fish Upon the Sky, Puin moves on to Pond. And now we have Pond Puin, and they are very heavily established. We love, they have a gang baby show coming out. It's beautiful.
Can't wait.
And then
Pond Puin goes together very nicely.
yes.
Neo Puin Neo like doesn't.
Right. Well, in the show, again, if we're going based on character, it was Neo Puin.
Yeah.
Yes.
However, Neo Louis
goes
well.
If we're
very
talking
well
about
together.
Futs, Neo Louis has
And
hit the scene.
They have a new show coming out. They're going to be in the Eclipse with.
But is Louis in the Eclipse?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes. I'm thinking of vice versa.
He has a moment with Cow Tongue.
Yes.
That is very cute.
I was thinking of vice versa, where Neo is in vice versa on his own.
Okay. So then
Let's head back over to our OG boys.
Yes.
So, OG boys, we also have, before their big ships,
Yeah.
we have New and Earth. A lot of people forget that New and Earth were actually the original pairing. They were paired in Waterboy.
Yeah. There's a lot of discourse about how it took Earth a while to find his true
To find his boy.
His
And
true
so
match.
his first try, Earth's first try, was of course New. In Waterboy
Yes.
with two Y's, I did not finish this show, is what I will tell you.
I love this show. I don't care.
And so from there, of course, you have Tainu. As established in Kiss Me Again. Well, technically as
Kiss.
established in Kiss, and then
Yeah.
Kiss Me Again, and then brought to fruition in Dark Blue Kiss. And so
Tainu.
from there, of
Tainu
course-
is a ship that I fully support every single thing that each of those boys do. I don't care who they're with. Tainu introduced me to Tay and Nu, but from there, I fully supported everything they did.
So
I love
let's talk about Earth's next pairing. Where did he have to go next? He went to someone that everyone skips over.
Yeah.
He went to White.
White.
This was established in Theory of Love. If you remember,
I love how
White
you've gone
was-
full presenter voice. I love it. It's so good.
So, yes,
Continue,
White
sorry.
and Earth in Theory of Love. White, of course, played Third and Kai's friend, and
Yeah.
then Earth was like the bad guy. Earth was the one that that everybody thought was like coming for third. That we were like,
They had a fun little cat and mouse.
yes, but no, it was Earth. It was Earth and
Earth
White.
and White.
And so that's what that looks like. And then we have a little fun one-off for Tay.
Yeah.
You got
Joss.
Tay and Joss. And Tay and Joss are really interesting because they were established in 3 Will Be Free, which we love.
Yeah.
And so what's interesting is they have since been in other shows together, but not paired.
Totally.
But
They're in a show
they
now.
do some weird like ship work not weird, but some like interesting
Yeah.
like Beatty shipwreck where they're
Yeah.
teasing all of us
Right.
on like Instagram. They initiate
Or
it
they'll
for
do
us.
photo shoots together because
Right.
they're beautiful and they deserve to be in print always.
Yeah. So Tay and Joss, and then as again, everyone forgets about this. As established at the end of 3 Will Be Free, Tay and Top Tap.
Yes. We have a nice little line.
Tay and Top Tap.
I love it.
As established in 3 Will Be Free. Absolutely wild.
So good. And then one of the first BLs that was ever done was a show called Lovesick, which I actually really loved. And White and Captain were paired together.
Yes.
Which was fun and did some cute little ship work. There's some fun little performances. Because a lot of these shows, the ship work early days did some like fan meetings, which involved all the things.
So since we talked about Top Tap, let's hop over.
Yeah.
Of course, R.I.P. Pour one out for the lost homies, Top Tap and Mike.
I think, is this the one ship that we're safe to say?
I think we're safe to say it's sunk, right?
Sunk.
We can all agree this has sunk, and we're all very sad about it.
There was drama behind the scenes we don't know about.
We all feel betrayed.
There were some unfollows on Instagram.
And okay, it was sketchy. Listen, if you're a Let's Talk BL listener, you have heard me spout my conspiracy theories because I have conspiracy theories about this. Like GMMTV, call me. I have conspiracy theories.
We know you're listening.
But yes, Top Tap and Mike, this is a sunk ship, but they were an established ship. And Mike has since
multiple shows established ship.
I know. We're all bitter. So sad. I know. So where'd Mike go? In the most baffling turn of events of all time.
Make it make sense. If you're a fan of Mike Christ, please let us know. Please explain to us.
Listen, I'm not an auntie. I feel like you're verging on auntie. I am not. I am so interested. Like, I am fascinated by this.
Be with whoever you want. I will just watch from a distance and say
I will fully watch because this is fascinating to me. Mike and Chris.
Do your thing.
It's so fascinating to me. I am determined to talk to them and I'm determined to make it make sense. This is my mission for 2022.
And truly one of the GMMTV ships that will probably stand the test of time is Chris Singto.
Chris Singto, because although Singto is no longer with GMMTV, the Chris Singto ship remains sailing. They got brand work every other day. They're commenting on each other's pictures like, can we tell the world we're married? Like, they are fully in the game for life.
He has literally kissed half of Thailand at this point.
He being
Singto. Even though, I mean, now since he did his monkhood, now he's ready to get married. He's got to figure out who he's going to marry.
So, Chris Singto, another OG ship, of course, as established in Sodus.
Okay. Now that we started with Earth with New, then we're going to go to Earth's final true pairing.
Penultimate.
His
UTP.
We will always have Earth Mix.
We'll always have Earth Mix. So Earth Mix, of course, established in A Tale of a Thousand Stars. Shout out payoff.
Let me tell you, this is where I understand where fans get a little confused. Because,
you can say the word Delulu. It's
because
okay.
I truly am an Earth Mix stan. Like, I am in love with them. I will consume everything that comes out about them. I love their little cat family. I love their house that they may or may not live in together, that apparently New is like got his own house, whatever. Even though like Neo's now living with Earth.
I was gonna say Neo and Earth live together. They're not a ghost ship. Well, okay. Honestly, in a very surprising turn of events, Neo has chemistry with literally anyone.
Yes.
Which like I never it didn't occur to me until
Cowtongue and Neo were like paired a little bit in Tanhan.
I very much was like, I am so confused, but I am so here for it.
I mean, it makes sense because Neo is like best boy ever.
Right. Neo, but it's Neo. It's very confusing. It's very confusing. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe Neo Earth ghost ship. Is this a new thing? Are we establishing it?
I like it's like father son ghost ship. Like
like the friendship.
I ship them as father son.
But like we know that they're friends because they live together.
They did brand work together. So they fully did brand work together.
Give them a line. Neo Earth.
And do you know what's funny? I loved that appearance because Neo broke something of Earth's and he was like, I'm only telling you on live TV so that you don't kill me.
Yeah,
Okay.
give him a line.
Where's-
Neo Earth, we're saying
Where's
it.
Neo? Oh, he's
We got Neo all the way on the other side of the board.
Oh my god, I love it.
I'm obsessed.
So much. Okay.
Okay, let's hop on down to Best Boy Pod because sweet Pod, sweet baby angel Pod. Of course.
I feel like this is like a fraternity, and these are like I don't know how sororities have like grand, like sister and grand sister.
Yeah.
This is like the same thing.
Yeah. So let's start with it. So his first pairing would have been Fluke. Yes. So Pod Fluke,
Yep.
Fluke Gawain. Which again, if you like, how should we say his name? Because I see fans do it interchangeably. If you're listening to this and you have an opinion, tell me, because GMMTV establishes him as Fluke, right?
Yeah.
They name him as Fluke. They list him in credits as Fluke, but fans call him Gawain.
Because that's his Insta.
So tell me what you prefer we call him.
We're going to go with Fluke because that's what GMMTV
We're going to go with
lists him
Fluke
as.
for the purposes of
And
this podcast.
That's what like the internet on like his bio says, that his nickname is Fluke.
Yeah, okay, sure. But like if it's Gawain, like I believe you. So
Fluke Pod.
Now Fluke, so we've got Fluke Pod, and then we have Fluke and First.
Yep.
As established in Not Me, which is currently airing.
Killing it. These two killing it.
I mean, with the whole like arrest me, okay, like this whole situation.
Because this is first BL thing. I didn't do much research. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure this is his first BL thing because he's about to have a BL in 2022.
Right, he's gonna have a full BL with
cow tongue. With a
cow tongue.
Yes,
so
yes.
First, also cow tongue. First and cow tongue is Eclipse.
They're just like a quadruple.
A quadruple. And so then, of course, you have cow tongue and Pod as established in Tanhan Chanlati. So we got a little square dance going on with these
Pod
two.
Cow, because these two were precious and deserved way more.
Justice for Pod, just in general.
It's true.
Just like justice for Pod.
Although, here's the thing. We say this, and a lot of fans will get up in arms and be like, justice for whoever. But y'all, these boys make plenty of money. They get plenty of attention. They get plenty of work. Like, this is on the fans.
Okay, fine. Justice for the Pod fans who want to see more Pod on their screen.
That's what we should be saying. Justice for the fans, because I fully know that Pod is living his best life as like
he like goes fishing and makes
farmer,
stones and like yes,
selling t-shirts. He truly is his character from Dark Blue Kiss.
Yeah. So let's talk about our two little one-off, like not one-offs, but our other two little pairings.
Wait, we have another family over here.
We're gonna do this last.
Okay,
Our other little family needs to be last because they deserve it. Truly, they deserve it. So, Book Force, of course, Enchante, current.
Yes.
Bam, one and done.
Yep.
Beautiful. Love that for them.
Love them.
And then you have a new ship that we haven't seen yet, but that we know is established thanks to this wonderful 2022 lineup. And that is...
No. Plume and Chimney have been around since Our Sky. They were established in something else.
So Plume and Chimney.
I'm sorry. I have not watched their show. I don't know anything about them.
Plume and Chimney.
And then Your Gear in My Gown was Mark and Pawin. Or Win.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about our other little family, which again, truly, they like. I mean, we're gonna talk about Pawat.
I mean, Pawat is truly just like the polygamist.
Pawat is the like ship husband to end all ship husbands. Like this man, and like he again understands the assignment and throws himself into every single ship, and he is just full speed ahead, and he's wonderful and he's perfect, and no one has ever been as good as Pawat, and no other man exists on this earth other than Pawat, and I will cry.
He's a great example of somebody who fully commits to the actor. Outside of acting, he can do whatever he wants. I fully support him, but he commits on screen for the fans, and I absolutely adore it.
And I would die for him.
I want the best for him in all things in life, because he
deserves everything.
Just like
I would give him all of my money.
And we have
And I have. And I
Hope you got your shirt, because.
And I would cry. And I will cry right now. I might cry right now thinking about Panpuan.
Okay, so
let's talk about Let's talk about
started with Tui in Make It Right.
Yes.
It's
a sunk ship. That's what we need to say. Yeah. That is a sunk ship.
Drama. Go to Reddit.
Drama. So Tui. And then we have where I discovered Panpuan and realized that he was truly the actor to end all actors, the talent to end all talents, paired with Singto in He's Coming to Me.
Yes, yes.
What I loved about this ship work is that it's some of the only other ship work that Singto ever did while he was in GMMTV.
Yeah.
Because they fully did ship work, by the way. But what was interesting about the ship work is you got this like throuple shipwreck situation because Chris was involved a lot of the time.
Yeah.
There were these like photo shoots where it was like Chris Singto and I mean the photos are stunning.
Oh, right. Interesting.
Yeah, the photos are absolutely
You know what's funny
stunning.
is that had that for the shipper too, because I didn't include that, but like technically we could draw a line from to first, because in the shipper first, I think Sings is the other boy in that show, which you still have to watch because it is so good. And so technically we can draw, because there's like a throuple kiss situation at a fan meeting.
Yes, there is. This is true.
So we can do this whole situation.
So first and So first is now joining the Panpuan family, and then of course our penultimate, our Earth, the mix to Ohm's Earth, truly. Nanan Korapat. Nanan
Korapat Kurpan, which I love that they took this like ghost ship throuple situation with Chimin. Honorable mention Chimin.
We do have him on the board. If you're watching, we gave him a low
because like if you're new to BL World and you don't like fully stand GMMTV, because there are those people. I didn't deep dive into the GMMTV world, but like there are people that fully ship the three of them.
Yeah,
they love them.
Listen, in research for our and Nanan interview, I ended up on AO3.
Oh my god. I remember this.
So I can tell you that yes, people do ship the three of them. This is absolutely true. And so that is GMMTV. It is incestuous. It is insane. It is the wildest thing you've ever seen in your life.
We'll post photos of this online.
And now we get to the fun stuff. So we're going to talk about every other boy on our list that we can get to. And their overlap, because this is where, in my opinion, it gets super interesting.
Yeah. There's so many boys in BL World.
And I'm really excited about one discovery that we just made that I don't think anyone knows about except for us.
This is the other thing I will say about this list too, is that like there's so many ships that get established that have shows that we just don't know about because like they either crash and burn because so many things happen because COVID happened or whatever. And so like, for example, they're not on this one because they're just like a one and only couple, but Cowup Turbo, they had a show 3 years ago that never came out. And so they've just been doing ship work, and they appeared in Lovely Rider as a ship. Yep. They appeared in Oxygen as a ship. Like that's truly, I would say Cowup Turbo are like probably the study of what a ship,
a true really ship. Yeah, a true ship. Yeah, that is true.
Okay, so should we start over here?
Yeah, let's start with we got another little quadruple.
One of our OGs for us when we first got into BL.
Jeff Game.
Truly.
Oh, Jeff and Gameplay.
Started in
as established in He, She, It and continued on in Ingredients. They were actually a 2-show ship. Which is kind of unique in BL.
They were supposed to be in Kin Porsche together.
Yes, they were.
And then
the drama. The drama. So now
they also do a ton of ship work with Central Market doing Unbag.
Yes, they continue to do ship work. They continue to make appearances. It's all fantastic.
Yeah.
So these two have since been gifted, fairy godmothered new boys. Let's start with I think the one that is that shines the brightest in our hearts because we've seen them together. They're established already, and truly we love Gameplay and Folk.
truly have chemistry that just like
But
brings you to tears.
Honestly, it's such interesting chemistry because the show is like, it's such interesting chemistry because they're great together in the show. No,
the show was a workshop on screen.
And their
That's
show,
essentially what that was.
The two of them together as the characters are great, but then the two of them, they've got just such interesting chemistry as like an actorship. It's great.
There's some excellent video of behind the scenes where one of my favorite videos that I've probably watched 1,000 times is Gameplay and Folk are just sitting at a table eating lunch. Folk is like doing something. He's like on his phone or reading a book or something. And Gameplay reaches across and picks up something across Folk, but he gets like super close to Folk and maybe even touches his cheek or something. And Folk just like looks at him, but then just kind of like ignores it and just like goes on. And Gameplay does this little smirk. And it like, that is like the best ship work.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. One of my favorite behind the scenes videos is when Gameplay is like, I need you to calm down. They're like filming a kissing scene and Folkish, I mean, he's a new actor.
He went for it.
Right. He's a new actor. And so he was just like really gung ho. And Gameplay, the experienced actor, was like, okay, no, my Padawan. Like, let's get this right. And I love that video.
Okay.
So then of course, as has been mentioned, Gameplay is no longer in Kinporsh, but we have a new baby, and he's truly a baby, 17 years old. Am I right?
Yeah.
And his name is Barcode. So Jeff and Barcode is the new pairing for Jeff. So that's our little quadruple over there in the corner.
Okay. Speaking of Until We Meet Again.
I'm so excited.
Yes. Okay.
So, of course, we have Cow and Cooheart, a.k.a. Little Earth.
That's it.
That's the answer.
They did some great ship work during like fan meetings for Until We Meet Again.
Honestly, they also were fantastic in the show. Like, the power that these two have and the chemistry that they have on screen to make you care about their couple when you only ever see the tragedy and you see maybe 2 to 5 minutes at a time of the couple work is astounding.
This is a great example of a ship that I would prefer the characters over the ships.
I agree.
However,
no, I'm with you.
I am obsessed with Cowup.
Yes. So of course, Cow after Until We Meet Again.
Fully.
Cowup, as established and lovely writer, as continued in all of their ship work. And then we've got a new show coming out.
Love it.
2022.
Also,
do we know? Is it 2022 or is it? We don't know yet.
We just know they have a project.
Right.
Like we don't even know if it's a show.
Yeah.
Anyways, another ship from these two that I adore is Santa Earth.
Santa Earth.
These boys and their TikToks, these boys and their friendship.
They're precious. And you know what?
Adorable.
They are a really great example of toxic shipping in the sense that they're a great example of people taking a ship way too seriously and getting worked up over nothing.
Totally.
So here's the thing. It's not Cooheart's fault that he looks young.
It's true.
And like I envy him for it.
You like couldn't put this sweet little angel boy with anybody except this sweet little angel boy.
Right. And so he is paired with a boy who is quite a bit younger than him, also 17, I believe.
Yeah.
So yes, he's a kid. But they are working together.
Yeah.
They are not actually dating.
And
they are not
actually,
and his mom is there.
Always with him.
And like they are working together. They are fun friends. They film little TikToks together and they have fun and they're an appropriate ship. They are not an inappropriate ship. And one of my biggest pet peeves is how much hate that they get because it's absolutely unfair. You didn't see it happen when, quite frankly, Perth was 17 years old in Love by Chance. Nobody talks about that.
Yeah.
Right?
Or
Panpuan. Puan just turned 18 this past year.
Yeah.
Right? Puan was 17 years old in Fish Upon the Sky.
Yeah.
So, and nobody talks about that. And so it really, really gets me that when people take the ship too seriously.
Totally.
They are working together. No one has ever crossed a line. It's completely unfair. That's my soapbox.
Totally.
Done with that. So here's where it gets fun. Okay, what we discovered. So, as has been announced, we had the lovely, bubbly, effervescent boys of You're My Sky on Let's Talk BL.
Go watch You're My Sky. It is the best show I've ever seen.
It is so good. The cinematography, guys. Oh my God. But in our research, we discovered that Santa was in a was slated to be in a Wabi Sabi show.
TBD. Who knows?
It's dead.
We don't know. We know nothing about the show.
We know not much about the show, but I'm like pretty sure it's dead.
As in true Thai BL form, it's a show that may come out 5 years from now. It may never come out.
Right. So he was slated, Santa, to be in a show with Portia. With Portia of You're My Sky.
Sweet boy.
Portia plays V in You're My Sky.
Who potentially had a thing with Wabi Sabi for a while. We have no idea.
Right. This is all brand new information to us. We just found it out when we were doing our research.
Listen, when you do research about BL boys, like the things you find out, truly, y'all are going to love the You're My Sky interview because all these boys have so many connections to so many boys.
So let's hop over to You're My Sky while we're talking about it. Portia, of course, now paired with his own brand new child, Chris Strickland.
Oh my gosh, true. He went from one child to another.
Chris Strickland. And
Love
to be
him.
fair, here's the thing. Portia is also a kid. He's
20.
not that he's 20. He's not that much older.
2001, I think.
Yeah. He's not that much older.
Yeah.
Now paired with Chris Strickland, who's also 17. Again, I'm just saying everybody's real big on this V-Dome train and you don't see anybody hating on them. So like
True.
there we go.
Okay.
And they're precious and perfect and adorable and we love.
100%. Another You're My Sky couple.
Boom Jump. Boom Jump. Again, this is a really great example of what we were talking about earlier. Like, make room for these new couples because they're truly magnificent together. And
Boom was a GMMTV hopeful.
Yes. And is like friends with Pond.
And Jump is just really cute.
Yeah, Jump is just, So, continuing on with You're My Sky, and here's where we've got some overlap. Some more overlap. You have Tay, who was in Why Destiny, and Sua, our sweet
boy,
tiger cub angel. We love. We would die for him. Sua,
yes,
and Tay in You're My Sky.
Yep.
And then Tay, of course, was in Why Destiny and paired with Chap.
Yep.
And so now Chap is paired with Green.
And they do a ton of couple work, actually. They, in preparation for the tuxedo, have done like TikTok videos, have done like fun little reaction videos. Like they're a fun ship that I've actually started paying attention to and, love.
So getting back to Wabi Sabi, honorable mention, Yacht and Sammy.
I mean,
because why not?
Sammy
deserves a spot in the BL conversation. So this is not a GL conversation, which is why we did not include her, her pairing. But honorable mention, we just want to talk about Sammy a little bit.
For sure.
So Sammy and Yacht, let's just say it.
Love it.
Which leads us into
the surprise of all surprise, y'all. When I first heard about this boy, everybody was like, "Oh, he famously doesn't kiss his like boy in the show." And yet now
that's what I always heard about him too, was that, he doesn't kiss boys.
Now
he's in BLs and he doesn't kiss boys.
Fully banging a boy in a show.
Please don't say that word.
Making love. They're not
don't
making
say
love
that either.
It's like BDS. It's like 50 Shades of Grey.
Stop now.
He's fully in a 50 Shades of Grey show. Okay, so
we're talking about
Yoon.
So
he went from like camera panning away in Why Destiny to like fully kissing Yacht in spoiler Paint with Love.
Yeah, so Yoon and Yacht Paint with Love, and then also Yacht and Talay, and then you have
Talay and Perth.
I wasn't sure which direction we were going to go, and if we were going to go left or if we were going to go down.
Yeah. And then Yoon with this boy.
You know all their names, Beth Ann. You just said.
Ton. Sorry. Ton.
Yes, Talay.
His name is Ton.
Yes, Yoon and Ton.
Okay.
So Yoon
is collecting.
Yoon bagging the boys.
Pawat, watch out. Yoon is coming for your title.
Yoon giving Pawat a run for his. No one compares. Nothing compares.
Oh my God.
No one compares.
I want to know who has had the most ships. In our research, it's Yoon. Oh. They're tied. They both have 3.
Earth.
Big Earth.
No,
because has first, which we didn't include, so he has 4. So
Oh.
yeah. You win the ship prize. I mean, he was in a show called The Shipper, so it's only appropriate.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Where should we go next? This little situation? Y'all.
Must we?
Here's the thing. I don't mind getting hate because it is what it is. Okay.
Let's talk about Mew.
When you first get into BL, or when I first got into BL, when everybody gets into BL, like Tarn type.
You know Tarn type.
You know Mew Golf.
Tarn type.
Mew Golf truly was the ship that set the standard for what a ship could be, what a ship might be, what a ship
in some select ways should be.
Yes. And in a lot what shouldn't be.
Right.
It blurred the lines real hard. Okay,
but
so
truly an icon.
Mew started with art, which again, if you get into BLs, you know the drama. We're not going to touch on that. Google.
Here's the thing. What I will say is when I was a new BL fan, I didn't know the drama. I didn't understand what happened. And so my recommendation for you, if you're curious about the Mew art situation, there are some great videos on YouTube. Just throw it into YouTube and watch a few.
Do some research. It's interesting to learn about actors. All is forgiven. They followed on Instagram. Mew art seemed to be friends again. Water under the bridge for the actors.
Sunk ship. Cool. Mew and
we
Golf.
move on. Then you have Mew Golf. And now Golf has got some girls.
Yes, now Golf has expanded his horizons.
I love that for him. And who knows, Mew's like doing just singing, which I love for him.
Right. He's announced this like fish BL. I'm just kidding. It's not a BL, but it is about the ocean.
Fish BL.
It's about the ocean. He's doing other projects.
Yeah. Okay. Should we go over to this situation?
Are we going to talk about 2 moons?
Although
some 2 moons, not 2 moons 2. So disclaimer, not 2 moons 2, only for time.
Yes.
For time's
also,
sake.
Baby Baz is also giving Pawat a run for his money because Baby Baz is collecting the boys. So Baz, of course, started with God in 2 moons.
2 moons.
Now Baz has done
in Gen Y season 2.
Potentially. Who the knows? I'm very salty. I'm watching it live and it's a whole thing.
Yeah, you told me. Okay, and again, this is an interesting ship conversation because we were talking yesterday. We talk all the time. And you said to me, and I was like shocked. And I was like, Beth Ann, that's so unhealthy. You said to me, I'm so overdone in Baz. And I was like, what do you mean? And you were like, I hate them. And I was like, what do you mean? Because of course you said you're really mad at them. You don't even want to see their faces. And I was like shocked because I binge. So I am not watching Gen Y season 2 yet. I'm waiting until I can watch it all
I'm over it. Yeah.
And no, you said you hate them and you don't want to see their faces.
I would never say that.
You said this. And I was shocked. And I was like, what do you mean? And you were like, you're just going to be really mad when you watch season 2. You're going to be mad. And I was like, okay. So you're telling me you don't want to see Baz's face and you hate him.
I was talking about the characters.
Because of but you said done Baz.
Well, right, because I don't know the names of their characters because their characters
are this is
thing.
Where the lines blur in shipping.
Oh
this is an important conversation because so often actors get a bad rap for what happens to their characters when it's not their fault they got a bad script.
Or even their shows, for sure.
And their shows, which is another conversation, right? Talking about Cow Na Turbo, talking about a current show that's out. Yeah. People are really upset.
I fully support Cow Na Turbo. I will buy him a tuk-tuk for his birthday.
Right. Like, we stand, and it's not their fault. No. So, like, this is another conversation around shipping where, like, it's not the actor and the ship's fault what happens to them in their shows.
I'm over their characters in the show. They're being super annoying. Okay, so then Baz collected Perth, literally, for his movie.
For Tell the World I Love You.
Because you guys should watch that Souls Day because it's amazing. Baz apparently just, like, DM'd Perth and was like, come be in this movie with me, which is adorable.
So Baz and Perth, as established in Tell the World I Love You, which is out right now doing promotions right now. It's actually very cute. Dunn has been coming to the, like, screenings.
Very sweet.
And it's actually a really interesting study in ship work because, of course, Baz and Perth are doing the ship work, and then so are Baz and Dunn during the photo calls.
Here's what's hilarious about Dunn Baz is that Baz has a ton of work. Baz is like the most booked and busy boy in BL, and Dunn just appears to like be his white knight to take him off. Like there's so many videos of Dunn just appearing at a fan meeting with like a Kim Cop Baz situation, because Kim Cop Baz do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And Dunn will just show up and like escort Baz off stage and like they get into their car a lot and just like ride off into the night.
Yeah.
And I'm fully here for
So
it.
Dunn Baz, I actually think is like one of the most fascinating studies in ship work.
Love Dunn Baz the ship over whatever their names are in the show. I don't even know. Okay. Again, another drama, totally sunk ship.
Perth and Saint.
Yes. We won't discuss that because it's a very, very bad thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Perth Saint sunk. And so then, of course, you have Saint Z. We discussed this earlier. Saint Z are, truly an icon.
And
here's a really good example of an amicably sunk ship.
Yeah.
Right? They moved on. They had their show couple. They did their ship work. They have now gone off to do other ventures. Saint is doing his own thing. He's in some other shows. He's producing shows. He's living his best like producer boy life.
Of a company.
Yeah, like Saint is living his best producer boy
promoting
life.
A GL. Love that for him.
And Z now, of course, is paired with Nunu.
Truly one of my favorite ships currently. Xenu. I read literally everything they put out.
I love Xenu, and I am dying for Cutie Pie. Like, is it February 19th yet? Yeah. I need it like right now, like 100%. Yesterday.
They are killing the ship work. Also, I just think Z kills ship work in general. His ship work with Saint was so fun to watch because it was a lot like an Fluke situation where like Z was a full fanboy of Saint, and there were just moments within interviews where you could tell that like Z couldn't believe he was sitting beside Saint.
I mean, that happens to me literally all the time. If you watch our like You're My Sky interview, like there are so many moments, like you'll catch it. It's fine. I'm not gonna. It's fine. But like, fully. But also, actually, one of my favorite behind the scenes from Why Are You is when.
Yes.
It's you know what I'm gonna say. Yeah. Like, is when they're in the hot bathtub.
They're in a bubble bath.
They're in a bubble bath.
Yeah, like you do.
As you know, natural, casual.
As you do.
Casual.
Yeah.
And like they're saying the line, and Z goes, and Z is supposed to say,
"I love you,
fighter lock tutor."
Yeah.
Or P lock tutor.
Yeah.
But instead, which is I love tutor. But instead he says P. He says P lock Saint.
Yeah.
And it's just so cute because he catches himself and it's like funny and they both laugh and it's just like a good time. And he just had such an actor crush on Saint.
I love it.
And it's
so
just
much.
magical to watch. Like truly a successful stan.
Okay. So then going back to the 2 moons, 2, right?
2 moons.
2 moons?
2 moons. First 2 moons. Original 2 moons. We talking T and Tay?
Oh, no, I was going to go up here. But we can do this one. So we had T and Tay, good old SB5. Were they shipped? I guess they were shipped in SB5.
I didn't realize there were ships within SB5.
Okay, so
because like in SB5, isn't everybody just shipped with Baz?
I don't know,
because Baz goes around kissing all of them on the mouth.
It's true.
So
I mean, Baz is truly the idol of all.
Because
idols.
like maybe draw a line. Oh, Kim Copper on a different board. But maybe draw a line between Baz and Copter.
Baz and all the boys. True. Oh my God. Okay, so Tay and T.
And then of course you have Tay and Singto as established in Paint with Love. Yeah. What does that put Singto up to? 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Still behind Panpuan.
I mean, he's acted with a bunch of boys, but I haven't seen him do ship work.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't really do ship work outside of Christ to this day.
And I gotta say, well, he and Tay have made like appearances together.
Right. To promote the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I gotta say, I've been watching Paint with Love, and like at first I did not get it. At first I was so confused. At first I was like, what? Singto and Tay? And now I'm like deep in Paint with Love, and I'm like, Singto and Tay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's a great example of how you're not sure about a ship, but you're watching for one of the boys because you stan one of the boys, you're a fan, and then you fully are on board with the ship because it works.
Right.
Okay. So then going on to
Let's jump up. Let's talk about
To-
one of our favorite boys.
to
One of my
move
favorite
to-
boys in the whole world. Pavel. Pavel and Dome.
Pavel Dome.
Pavel Dome, as established in 2 Moons 2, we are not getting into any of the other couples in 2 Moons 2, again, for the sake of time and time alone.
Yeah. The fun thing about Bins and Dome and Pavel is that they are no longer. However, they both collected their own bins.
They both got a Benz. Oh, what a nice divorce settlement. No, just
Wabi
kidding.
Sabi bins, actually. Previously Wabi Sabi, right? Baby Bins was previously Wabi Sabi, right?
Right. So we have what we refer to them, and tell me if you guys refer to them. We refer to them as Baby Bens and Poo Bens.
Poo Bins.
But tell me if there's like a different nickname we should be using.
I always love finding out other fans' nicknames because, like, Coohart, everybody calls him Coohart, but we always call him Little Earth.
Little Earth.
And then, with Baby Benz, because Sweet Baby Benz was like 16 or 17
because he's a sweet baby
when he was doing Love Mechanics.
Well, and also in Love Mechanics, he plays a high school student,
right?
So he's a sweet baby,
and he had braces.
So he's a sweet baby.
Okay, so we have both of these. Pavel got him a Benz for Coffee Melody,
right? So Pavel got Poo Benz.
Dome is getting Baby Benz for the Theory series, and then y'all, truly, you got on your war agenda and I got on my prom agenda. I am fully in love with Prom. I can't explain it. I just I'm obsessed with this boy and everything that he does.
I can't explain it either. It makes no sense to me.
Okay, so Prom and Benz, truly the most wholesome.
So wholesome.
So wholesome.
When daddy doesn't mean father.
He just wants to be his daddy.
When brother doesn't mean brother.
He just
like
wants
how
to
daddy
kiss him
doesn't
on the
mean
cheek.
father.
Okay, and then truly, Prom.
Okay, calm down, ma'am.
Prom paves his own way in this life. He went and got him a boy, but then is also in a show that has nothing to do with this boy. Just to do ship work on the side. He's like, I don't have a boy.
Okay, literally. So I did a little bit of research into this, and what's difficult about it is it's very ingrained in Thai fan culture. And I do not speak Thai, as is evidenced in every interview we've ever done. And
you don't speak Thai?
I mean, my Thai, never mind. So
we can't even say Nanan, right?
So I did try and understand this Mark Prom situation. And from what I could glean from Google Translate on Thai Stan Twitter is that...
Oh, yeah, Mark technically has had 2 or 3 other boys, but...
Mark and Prom, right, one of which was Zung from Bite Me.
Yeah.
Prom and Mark both separately are gamers that stream. And
oh my god, do you think that Prom was buddies with Pooin, but Pooin's already shipped and so he moved on?
Honestly, this is a real life Game Boy situation is what has happened to us. This is
oh my god, you're so right. This is blowing my mind.
So they're both separately gamers that stream, which this is a big thing. Again, like you mentioned with Pooin, Pooin's also a streamer and Pooin and Prom are buds.
Which makes sense.
But so they're both separately streamers that game, and the fans started shipping Mark and Prom, and they were like, you guys should be friends, and do you know each other? And we ship Mark and Prom.
Yeah.
And so then Prom, an entrepreneur among men we stand,
fully embraced this whole situation.
He was yes. And he invited Mark to play some games.
I love their ship work because you can tell Mark is just along for the ride. He's this boy wants to do this and it makes us money, so why not?
Right. So he invites Mark to play some games, and then they become friends, and they're Instagram DMing situation, and they're streaming, and they're kind of becoming friends, and then they
Prom fell first, but Mark fell harder.
I think Prom fell first and harder.
Yeah,
I
true.
think Mark is just there.
Just there.
And so somehow
and then
they got a brand deal.
They made an appearance at a mall like you do.
Right. Somehow they got a brand deal. And now
Hundreds
they're
of
just
people
doing
showed up.
full ship work. They were on Sosat Solse as a couple.
And they had to apologize for it for some reason.
It's all very confusing.
It makes no sense.
But yeah, Mark Prom.
I'm fully here for it.
So that was our overlap among, and that's mostly just all we have time for. But like, it really just illustrates that there's so much more overlap.
Over an hour, so
there's so much more overlap than you think and you know. And so like, let the boys be free. Let the people be free.
Here's
last but not least You Are My One and Only Boys.
Yes. Which y'all, here's the thing about BL World is that it's wild. So for example, Kimin has had other boys in shows, but he's never been in a ship like Kim Cop. Oh my God, this is insane.
So You Are My One and Only Boys, of course. Let's start on this side.
Okay, so we have truly one of my favorites, a Gen Y established bank bonus.
Your favorite? Hold on. Maybe because I have not seen Gen Y season 2, this is highly confusing for me because Gen Y season 1 bank bonus were not it.
No.
Does it get better?
It gets way better.
Okay, I trust you.
It gets way worse, but then it hopefully will get better.
Wait. So it hasn't gotten better. It just got worse, and somehow that makes them your favorite?
Just go watch their cute little dance cover that they just put out. I just love this ship because they're just fun friends.
Okay, well, one of the real true favorites
is
Panpuan.
Yeah.
As established in The Moment I Need You. Why has no one watched The Moment I Need You? Go watch The Moment I Need You and The Moment Since, and it's wonderful.
Speaking
and it's
of
beautiful,
underrated
and it's
BLs
perfect.
that we will be talking about.
And they're also in Gen Y.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
the ship of all ships.
Kim Cop.
Kim Cop,
You Are My One and Only.
I love these ships that like get shows established just for them.
Right.
Like Gen Y was a vehicle for Kim Cop, and now they're gonna have like 4 shows this year.
Yes.
It's amazing. And then we have a new ship who, y'all, if you haven't watched My Matchmate, go do it because it's actually, I don't know where you can do it because it was online TV and now it's not. So I don't actually know what it's going to be. But Jet Jame.
Love
them.
My one and only.
Okay. Next, we have Smart
James. James. We all love.
Can we just talk about how incredible this was that like there was a show announced for the twins.
Yes.
And like in the Don't Say No world, but they had to announce a show for Smart James because
people were heated. People were so heated.
This is what fans should be doing is that if you care about something, don't get mad, mobilize and get shit done. Like they got a show announced.
Yeah, and now they're a 2-show couple. I mean, like, come on.
I love it. Okay, and then, of course, like from Don't Say No.
Truly best boys, our favorites. We love Jaw First.
Nobody
does it like Jaw First.
Go watch Close Friend again because it's a travesty that we're not getting season 2 of
Jaw First and Close Friend.
Yeah.
I mean, go watch just all Jaw First again. Yeah, I recently rewatched the Tarn Type season 2 Jaw First cut. And it was amazing.
Fascinating.
Yeah. And so then Jimmy Tommy, which these two grew on me.
Yeah.
But it makes so much sense to me that they're a You're My One and Only couple.
Just look at this photo. Like this is a photo of like a couple that only belong to each other. Yes. Which the funniest part is though that Jimmy went to another country for a fling with a boy oversaw by Tommy.
Yes, they've hopped over and done a Korean DL.
They just had an open relationship for a minute.
And so then you've got Max Nat. Sweet Max Nat.
This is truly a Jacob Renesmee from
Right. There's been imprinting. It's non-romantic. I'm just kidding.
He took care of him when he was an infant, and now that he is a full-grown man, now that he is of age, he is okay.
Their close friend is really,
close friend.
Yeah, their close friend is really sweet.
They were in all those little miniseries. Yeah. They were in Why Destiny. Why Destiny, however, got real spicy. Are we going back over here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Y'all, Max Tool,
the OG, the granddaddies of all ships.
Truly the healthiest ship I've ever seen.
So healthy.
So good.
Wonderful. Okay. What else is there to say besides they're perfect?
BKPP.
I mean, I don't think. I mean, BKPP is
Again,
just so
another ship that people love so much, established in a random straight show that got
it's
its
called
own
You're My Ambulance, and
My
like,
Ambulance.
yeah, it's called it's called My
Yeah.
Ambulance. And I mean, I'll go ahead and spoil it. I don't know. I'm telling you now. So if you don't want My Ambulance to be spoiled for you, fast forward. I'll give you a second. Okay, so Bilkin dies. And I was truly horrified when I watched it happen.
Yeah.
And so I fully understand why people rioted and were like, no, 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 no.
Interesting. Yeah.
Because literally Pee-Pee's character is like standing over him and watches him die.
Yeah.
And I honestly like lost it.
Because Itse was called the BKPP project.
Right.
Like forever.
And after I watched Pee-Pee's character in My Ambulance watch Bilkin's character die, like after I watched Pee-Pee watch Bilkin die, I was like, everything makes sense now.
Is that why you were willing to go rewatch I Promised You the Moon?
I still haven't rewatched it. Most Venomous Snake in Thailand. Tay.
Well, also there's like nowhere to do that.
Right.
Okay.
You can rebuy it. I can rebuy it. Why can't I rebuy it? Let me rebuy it.
Can you buy it?
On Vimeo. Yeah? Can't I? Can't I still buy it?
I don't think. Oh, maybe. I actually don't know.
I can rebuy it. Let me rebuy it.
Okay. One of my new favorite ships, speaking of new ships, Chaha Best are going to be in Check Out the Series. They got started in a show called Skinship, but they were friends. They were roommates in that show. A real toxic show. Do not watch it. It's questionable. But Chaha Best are killing it. Also, Best, there's like a little line that could go to gameplay because Best was like a third in their little situation.
Yes.
Okay. Then we have Mean Plan, which this is an interesting ship because they still do ship work occasionally. And Mean is like directing BLs now, which is a fun little side note. But
we're going to keep it positive on Let's Talk BL. Let's put it that way. And if you need to do your own research, do your own research.
Yeah.
So let's go there.
Okay. So back to Jamundi. Net James is a ship that will be in Bedfriend, and they truly kill the ship game. I'm obsessed with them. I've watched all their ship content. They're a ship that I love.
Okay.
Who is this?
I believe it's Cow and a Turbo.
Cow and a Turbo.
This is why I think you should speak to this ship.
Another ship that I absolutely adore. They understand the assignment. They're giving bracelets to each other for their 3rd year anniversary. They were a ship that had a show that got squished. They're also like a professional ship. Like, can you hire them to be a ship in a show? Because they've been a ship
they've
in
been
every
a ship in a show. So in Lovely Rider, they are like at a casting and everybody's like, ooh, Cow and a Turbo. Like they star as themselves.
Yeah. The same thing. Actually, I guess
no, they just show up as like a couple,
yeah,
right, in the coffee shop in Oxygen.
Oh, love them.
Yeah,
I'm super excited to hopefully one day in the far future watch.
Why does it have to be far future? Gaga Ulala has said they're trying to swoop in, so we'll see what happens.
Yes, we'll see.
We're here for it when it happens.
I'll just rewatch the OST.
Boon Prem.
Yeah,
I mean,
another example of a ship who people loved and now they're getting their own show.
And an example of a ship that like people would die for. Like I think that Boon Prem probably have some of the most dedicated fans. Like if you love Boon Prem, you love Boon Prem.
Yeah.
Right. And so like it's wonderful. Also, reinforced in Cutie Pie the series, we found out.
Yes,
if you didn't notice, they have a 0.5 second cameo in that trailer.
They're another ship that makes cameos out of their shows because they made a cameo in
You Never Eat Alone.
You Never Eat Alone
with Sua, and also Z and Plume. No. Z and
what is his name? Oh my gosh, Peak or Poom. Which one is it?
I think it's Peak.
I think it's Peak.
But I mean, most importantly,
we have
no.
just named off like 100 boys. So if we don't remember one of them.
No, but like the most important is I'm telling you, watch You Never Eat Alone. Maybe like fast forward. Watch it on like double speed for You Never Eat Alone. And just like slow down on the Sua scenes. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Yin War, the golden ship of all golden ships. They are so famous. How are they so famous?
They're killing it right now. The ship work that came out today.
Look at the picture. I mean,
This
with
is
the
like the
cheek
most
squish,
recent picture, and they've like fully embraced their like.
They always
their
what I love
relationship.
so much about Yinwar is they're another really interesting study in shipwork, because outside of the show, outside of love mechanics, it's very much a friendship. They are the most fun friends, and they tease and they flirt, and they actually, who really I think they are similar to, of course, like Yinwar was established first, is Om and Nanan.
Yeah.
In terms of like the way they handle their relationship outside of the show.
Totally.
And it's really, really fun. So if you love Om and Nanan, like check out WXY, check out all of the Yin worship work, because it's amazing.
Especially because whenever they do kind of flirt, it like makes them cringe, and it's like the cutest thing you've ever seen.
Yeah. And so next up we have Run and Mawin.
Yes.
As established in Tarn type and then continued on in Second Chance the series.
Yes. Which, if you haven't watched Second Chance the series, truly one of my favorites.
And I mean, Run is wonderful. We love, we stan.
Yep.
And then Fluke, which they were not included in the Until We Meet Again discussion because they were on the You Are My One and Only board. Fluke of course has ghost ships, and then Fluke of course is actually like been an actor for a long time, right. So he has acted with other boys. But in terms of like ship work, as we define ship work,
he found his one true boy,
right.
And now has done like will do 3 or 4 shows. Yeah.
And then we threw a little fun one in that is not a real ship. It's not established even
Honorable
a little
mention.
bit. Honorable mention. First and Mix, as established in Cute Chef Thailand. Give it a Google, give it a YouTube. They very clearly were supposed to be shipped within that group, which is really interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like kind of here for it.
100%. Wow. I'm exhausted.
This has been Chips.
That list was not exhaustive.
And this was not exhaustive even a little bit. I can name off a million other boys right now. Yeah. Let's Tong.
Yeah. Tong and
Let's start with Tong and his boys. Multiple boys, right? There's some more overlap. So this is not exhaustive. It was just meant to show like how much overlap and how insane a world this BL ship world is.
I know when I was checking our like ships, somebody mentioned Mild and his boy from the twin show that he did. I don't even know what his name is.
Right.
But apparently he was in a ship. Now he's just shipped with Golf forever.
Yeah.
He has to follow him and be his MC for everything.
Also not on this list, Petch, who has had multiple boys, and Suppanut, right? So we're not trying to say this is the exhaustive list of all ships, because again, we're already at like an hour and a half, and so this would be an 8-hour episode.
Yeah. Do your research. Find new ships.
I'm sorry, I just like truly right now I can see Chris and Portia. They're literally right between us. And they're just like looking. They're looking. They're judging.
We're gonna put watching. We're gonna put this on the internet so that you guys can tell us what ships you like. Comment below what ships, what ghost ships you'd like to see.
Let's talk ships. My brain hurts, but I guess we could do a third. So this was actually a requested episode.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
And so, like, if we want a third ships episode to continue the poster situation,
I mean, maybe we should do a ship episode a year, so that like for the new ships, because like 2022 is going to bring us some ships, some new shows, and
also again, this was only Thailand.
I know. Okay, guys, buy our merch if you love us and want to support us. And
this has been Let's Talk BL. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and keep up with all things Let's Talk BL at Let's Talk BL. See you next time.